So this is a lesson on reflections. What a reflection is, it is a transformation that uses a line like a mirror to reflect a figure. This line that we use is called a line of reflection. So for instance, if we're taking this eraser right here, instead of like gliding across or moving across, it's actually going to reflect or flip over and come like this. So it's going to kind of be an inverted figure, just like we see in a mirror. So things to consider. First of all, there's a distance to this line. This is the same from one side of the line to the other side of the line. And we're going to count to see how far that is apart. And what happens to this image, it will flip. Okay, some places where we've seen transformations is something like this, where we have a parabola, and it flips across the x-axis, and all of a sudden turns down instead. This same horseshoe that's opening up now is a horseshoe that opens down. And we can see that it actually flips from top to bottom. We can also flip it left and right or across any line we want to. Now in this lesson, we're going to be focusing on flipping things or having a reflection across a horizontal or vertical line. Now a little bit of review on horizontal lines. A horizontal line is in the form of y equals some number. Any number you want. Y equals 0 would be right on the x-axis. Y equals 5, y equals -2. Any number like this. And it's going to flip across this horizontal. So it might look something like that. A vertical line is x equals some number. Like x equals 0, for instance. So instead of flipping up and down, it's going to flip left and right across it. Something like this. And you're going to see that if we call this A, B, and C, this will now be A primed, B primed, and C primed. The farther away from that line of reflection, the farther it will be over here as well. So we're going to be looking at some of these and showing how these reflections operate. So here's the problem. We want to graph using these vertices. So our first vertex is point A is 1, 3. There's A. Point B is 5, 2. And point C is 2, 1. 2, 3, 5. There's B. And there is C. And we have this figure. Now we want to reflect it across the line of x equals 1. So here is where x equals 1. Our line of reflection is a vertical line where all the x's equal -1. Now, we want to first look at point A. How far is point A from this line of reflection? It's actually right on it. So the distance away is 0, which means when we reflect it, that point's not going to move. So A is equal to A prime. If we look at B, B is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. So it's going to be 4 units away to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where B prime will be. Point C is 1 unit away. So it's going to be 1 unit away from this line. And there is point C prime. When we connect the dots, we can kind of see that it's going to flip. The farthest points away are B. A is right on that line, and C is just 1 unit away. So these lines here are equidistant. The line from here to here is the same distance as from there to there, and we can see we have that reflection. So if we're using the same point over here where we have, now we're comparing it to y equals 3. We still have point A here. Point B is, there's point B, and point C was 2, 1. So now we're reflecting this across where y equals 3. Y is a horizontal line. And instead of flipping to the left, we're going to be flipping up above this. So again, A is right here. It's not moving, it's directly on that line. So A does equal A prime. C is 2 units below. We now want to go 2 units above. Here is C prime. B is 1 unit below, so it'll be 1 unit above. That is B prime. And there's that reflection going from black to blue, and we see the blues are in as primes. Now, we can also do a combination of what we call a glide reflection. Now, a glide is simply a translation where we're moving the object left and right and so forth, and then we're going to reflect it across a certain line. So here we're starting with these vertices of 3, 2, 6, 3 for our B value, and 7, 1 for point C. There's point A. There's point B. And here's point C. Now it's telling us our translation. Here's our rule. X minus 12, comma, y. And it's going to reflect across the x-axis. So I know it's reflecting here. Now, because we have two transformations here, a translation and a reflection, we want to show both movements. We do not want to skip any steps. So the first one, when it says x minus 12, means I want to move this figure to the left 12. 1, 2, 3, 12. So here's A, and we're not going up or down any. Moving this 12. Here is B prime. And then C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's C prime. So here is what we're calling this as a glide or a translation. We now want to do a reflection across the x-axis. So we're doing a reflection right here. Now this is different because we don't have any points directly on that line of symmetry or that line of reflection. So we can start with, this is 2 points away from the axis of symmetry, or the x-axis. So we drop this down 2, and there's point A. I'm going to call it double prime. Point B is 3 units above the x-axis, so I have to drop it 3 units below. So there is B double prime. C is 1 unit, so I drop it down 1 unit. And there is C double prime also. So we go from here, moving, gliding to the left, and then flipping across the x-axis. Kind of flips from here to here, and we get that figure. And we can see how we can do that in 2 steps. Take your time with the steps. Do not skip any.